Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's resume our beginner's guide to Vintage Story, but start it here in 2023, picking up where we left off, and we've updated the game significantly, so let's see if there's anything new in any of the updates that we need to consider, and just have some more fun in this beautiful game, seeing what it has to offer. So it's nighttime, we're in our little shack. We are getting a storage vessel going here and a hammer mold in these two little pit kilns that we've dug for ourselves. They're burning through the wood. And we don't want to go outside because you can hear the lurching of the zombies, but we've got beautiful stacks of peat. We've got a pickaxe mold here, an axe mold done over here. We've got some firewood, and we have some sand that we can work on sifting through while we wait for the night to pass. So we're going to step into our little water pit here, just chill out and sift through the sand, see if we can find anything nice. Okay, and as you can see, our bag, vibrate a little bit there. That's going to indicate to us that we got something, and it looks all the world like we got a basalt stone. So we'll just keep going and just sifting through this. You could see even the zombie poking through there. Or, I guess zombie might not be the right word, but creepy drifter dude. Bad guy. And just working our way through this sand like this. Seeing if we spike any ingredients, and there's something. And look, you can almost see the sun rising. Feels good. Oh, but that's right. If I pull from that stack, then we start to get taken out. It's a little bit unnerving. So instead, let me just put another stack over there. Like that. And then we're going to put a block here and just sift this way. This way we don't get caught in the drift, in the riptide, and pulled out. So we're just going to keep sifting from this sand. Boy, they're really trying to get in. It's creepy. Okay. And let's just see what we've got. So we're opening our bags with E, and indeed, we got 3 native copper. This is fantastic. Quartz, flint, not too shabby. So what we're looking for is copper. We'll need a significant amount of it. So we can just hang here, be safe. Even though you can see them clipping through, they can't get us. They can try. And as long as we stay inside our, base here, they're not going to break through our walls. Just going to keep on sifting it. You just right-click the stack, right-click to pan around, and you see me kind of sift through, hope that we get something, and repeat. I have so much sand with me. It's a great way to pass the evening without kind of, wasting the time too much. Our satiety is filled very high up. We'll close that basket there. Didn't mean to open that. I love how tidy our house is. I have to say I made my tutorial house much tidier than my first base in the Let's Play. It's still not perfect, but it works for me. We have a great amount of food, too. And, you know, we have an alarm clock. Once you hear that groaning start to fade, those enemies go away. We'll know that we can come outside. We can also just, you know, look at the time and see that it's 5:17 a.m. and have an actual clock by pushing C for our character portrait. But regardless of what that time says, if those guys are still out there, we don't really want to go outside. We'll wait for them to get blasted by the sunlight. And we got 5 copper. Sounds like they're not making noise anymore. Oh, they are, but you can hear them leaving. Very good. Alright. Just keep sifting. You can even keep your bag open if you want. You want to watch the excitement. Watch it fill up. Looks like we got a spearhead there. Some more flint. Any copper that we get is just so amazing, and it makes me really happy. Okay. And let's go ahead and close this. We have 19 pieces of charcoal that we made, which we can use to fire up this copper. And we have some storage vessels back here. Look how much stuff we have. And we're even making... Oh, the other storage vessel is finished. And we've got our crucible right here that we can start putting copper into. So we're actually in a really good spot. Okay, I'm back after a little break, and my goodness, it's beautiful daytime. You can always just check the day, and it's 6 a.m. So the sun is out. The monsters are, you know, safely away. I'm going to take our pan, and I'm just going to shift right-click it down here and set it so we can sift through sand later, but I don't want to right now, so I'm just going to take this big section of sand, and I'll put one here just to set it up for later, but I'm going to look for a place to put some of this, and yes, indeed. So I'm going to just hold Alt to move my cursor. I'm going to left click and drag this off my hotbar and put it into this empty slot on my basket. And our satiety is just fine. If I push E to open up our inventory, I'm not carrying any food on me for adventuring, so I might want to make that happen. I've got some bowls of food right here, so I'm just going to take this bowl and put it over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up all of my storage containers with right click, and then I'm just going to try to put things away in their proper home. So, you know, for example, this flint, if I shift left click it and there's already a stack existing in one of our containers, I'm going to just knock it in there and store it in the right place. And so I'm just holding Alt, and I'm just going to shift click this arrowhead and this spearhead. I don't need another spear at the moment. I actually have an obsidian spear, 1, 2, 3 copper spears, and a final 4th flint spear, so we can hunt a little bit more if we need to. I'm going to put away this. I don't know if I have space for that. Apparently I did. And I'm going to see if I actually have any copper on inside any of these containers, and I don't. Okay? So I'm going to just kind of push E, and I'm going to pick up this big storage crock that we have. And, you know, we're going to need to expand our base. Isn't that awesome? I'm going to put this here for now, and that's fine. And I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to push E, and I'm going to shift-click this quartz, okay? Actually, there was already a stack of quartz, wasn't there? I'm going to close this. Yeah. So I already had a quartz, but I'm going to put my metal over here. Just keep track of it. This basalt stone is nice if we want to nap, but I don't. I'm just going to put it in its own stack. And I feel good about going out to explore. I'm just closing all of my containers. You can push escape to do that as well. All right, so this is still cooking, and let's just open up. And of course our door broke because, well, it's the worst door in the world. I'm just going to right click it down like that. And beautiful day in Vintage Story. Wind is blowing. What do we want to do? Well, what we want to do is continue looking for copper, and we have found some places that we can gather copper, but the issue is we couldn't get it until we got this copper pickaxe, but we have it now, so we're ready to rock and roll. So let's just go and see if there's still copper on any of these waypoints that we have marked. If there is not, then we're going to need to just remove those waypoints and look elsewhere. Now there's a bad guy going back to his home. No problem. We have a bunch of tools and technology that we want to continue to build with our character. So at this stage, we are just working pretty furiously on getting as much copper as we can. Anything else of interest, that seems good to us, we can of course get, but we're doing pretty reasonably in the sense that we have food, we have shelter, we've got firewood, we've got peat. All right. So apparently I found some surface copper up here, but I don't see, I marked it, I believe, on my map, but I don't know exactly what I was referring to, because I must have picked up the surface copper. So in that case, you are kind of at the mercy of just either trying to remember where the copper was, or just digging down with our shovel and seeing if we can find where it was under the earth. And it's not a very enviable position, so this might be something that we abandon, but I could just knock some dirt around and see if, we get lucky. It's not looking super lucky. So I might just say, farewell to that node. We have some obsidian over here, and it looks like there's some quartz above us. Okay, here's the merchant. Found some quartz over here. I'm going to delete that point off our map. If it no longer works for us, push tab to close the text box, then I don't want to be misled by that again. Now, of course, I'm picking up this series after not having played for a bit, so there's a bunny if we wanted to try to throw spears at that. It's very possible that I've already checked that, but removing it prevents me from checking it again. Here we go. Now we're talking. Now this is a good spot. Look, I left all these copper bits up here. So what we can do is, looks like I already dug this out somewhat. And I don't know if this is how I got copper in the first place for the pickaxe that I have. But there's still some copper up here. So we don't need to leave all of it on the surface. We can just kind of pick up some of it and just keep one piece up here to just remind ourselves of where this is. Our shovel is about to break, by the way. So it's going to be in our best interest to get a better shovel, and I'll probably have to go home to do that. I'm going to dig out as much as I can. And then the copper fell down, but it's still there. So now I'm going to switch over to this and see if, yep, here's copper. Jackpot. Now, when you get copper like this, okay, we are picking up, let me show you, medium chunks of copper, okay? So we have the pickaxe now, which means we can get better quantities of copper, but of course I didn't dig this out to get our copper pickaxe because, number one, I couldn't have been digging it out without the copper pickaxe, and number two, as you're going to see, we can't actually do anything with these medium chunks right now. So it looks like initially all of your copper problems are solved, but alas, they are not, because you need a hammer to smash these chunks and get the copper that's inside. So we're going to need more loose copper or copper from panning to get the hammer. Now, once we get the hammer, then we're talking, then Shangri-La, because the amount of copper that you get from these chunks is significantly higher than the amount that you get from just a small chunk. Like, I'll show you, for example. I'll knock this block down, and you can see the native bits, right? The native bits give you these nuggets, which are 5 units of copper, okay? So each one of these is 5 units. Each one of these chunks is 20 units of copper, okay? So, you know, if this chunk right here provides 5, then these are providing 4 times as much. So we're going to have a lot, but we got to make that hammer. Also, I'm going to emphasize to you, because this happened in my Let's Play, make sure you do not take your hammer with you and you keep it safe at your base, because I had an incident where I died and I could not get my body back in time before my items basically despawned, and I lost my hammer. And then without a hammer, you're back to effectively square one again in terms of not being able to get copper. You have to just scour the surface and pan for it, and it's just brutal. Now, at any time, of course, you can change the settings, and I kind of recommend that you might do this. It depends on what your appetite is for changing the game settings, but you can make it so that you don't lose your inventory upon death, to kind of mitigate the sting of being killed somewhat. And if you're a new player, this might be a good idea, because losing your progress can be catastrophic. But of course, if you're going for like a more survival-y, and you want the high stakes and, you know, the intensity of knowing that you might lose your stuff, then that's fine too. It's up to you. It's up to however you want to play the game. The only right way I would recommend is just whatever you enjoy. Now, I'm just kind of like mining out a little bit more to see if there's any other copper here, but I think we're done. I don't think there's going to be any more. So it's time for us to move on. You can always just kind of like keep knocking around to see. Sometimes you'll get a really, really big pit that you need a ladder to go into, and there's just copper everywhere. But we ended up getting 34 chunks of copper, which is a ton. So because this has been mined out, I am going to just pick up this last node. I don't need it as a place marker for myself to remind me in the future exactly where to dig, because I can just clearly see that myself. All right, there's a rift over there. I don't want to mess with that. What time is it? It's noon, and we're getting hungry. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag this to my hotbar, and I'm just going to push 8, and I'm going to eat my meal. Oop, right click, sorry. And, okay. Gave me a little bit of satiety back. And I'm going to go back to my pickaxe. I'm going to check out this other copper section. Now, if, oop, not that button. If you want to make a hammer, okay, which is what we need, All right, we made the hammer mold, okay? If we want to make a copper hammer, you see that we need a copper hammer head, and we need a stick, right? And the copper hammer head is, No, go back. No. Here. Let's see. We need a copper mold to make this item, and right. Well, I was hoping it would tell me immediately how much copper we needed, but usually you need 100, something around that. So if we need 100, right, then we need 20 chunks to get there, or 20 loose pieces. And this looks like a chasm that I may have excavated before, but let me just go over here. And it says that I found loose copper up in this section here. And looks like I did dig this out a little bit. This is another way you can just kind of mark your place, is just dig a hole. Okay. And then from here, we can just kind of see, is there copper here? It's not looking great. I'm going to tell you that much. It's not always, a surefire indicator. Oh, that makes me sad. We tried. Okay. I'm going to go back home. And the best way to do this is to just kind of put all of our resources together. Here's a little cave over here. We've already marked it. All right. And I'm just kind of scouting out down below, see if I see any chunks, native bits of copper lying around for myself, both to start getting the hammer. Oh, here's another little cave, and to mark for future mining. Wow, look at this. Okay, there's bad guys in here, though, unfortunately. I fell. Got him. That drifter is gone. We're going to just see if he's got anything, and he doesn't. But he's gone. He didn't hurt us that badly. Our spears did the job, but look at all this. Oh, there's a bunch of bad guys in here. Okay, they're guarding all these delightful resources that we found. Okay. Hey. A-do-do-do. Oh, he fell. All right, this will give us a chance to pick up all of our stuff. And then now we can play the ranged game with this other guy. Just let him come around the corner and just throw our spears at him. Remember, I'm just holding right-click and letting it go and killing him. Okay. And we'll go ahead and just select our knife, and I'm going to shift right-click to harvest these guys. Sometimes they do have loot. Not this time, but check this out. Look at all of this. This is copper, okay? So we have found a massive area that is filled with copper. You know what? We've also found a massive area that could potentially be a really good base for us. If we light this up and cover the blocks in here so that bad guys can't spawn, this is a nice, huge, already excavated area with a water source that could be quite profitable, potentially. Just as something to think about. I'm going to get all of this copper. Now, again, you see how we're finding just a little bit of copper, like, behind some of these bricks? You could just keep knocking them away and find more copper, potentially. So what I'm going to do... Look at that. Hiding back there. I'm just going to dig out. Yep. Until we stop seeing copper. Like, if there's no more, then there's no more, but I'm going to try to get as much as I can from this spot. Okay, now we're going to go to the map, and we're going to mark it. I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to put this, and I'm going to call it Copper Cave. Okay, so now we have that. That was a very good find. Typically, caves just have enemies, and especially at the surface, they don't have that much stuff, but we got very, very lucky there that we have a bunch of copper. And look at this. We've got stacks and stacks of copper nuggets. So what that is just 100% tremendous. Okay? So I'm going to just head in the direction of home. And, you know, just kind of scout the land as we walk. Need some more food. Didn't really bring a ton with us, but that's okay. We're looking just to see if there's any little bits of native copper lying around for us here. Yeah, I don't really see anything. Our priorities are to make a hammer first, and then we can start making cool stuff, other tools that will further strengthen us. There's some obsidian. And you can see we've got our beautiful little farmland here, and there's some weeds growing because we don't have anything planted in our farm. So let's do that. We don't have the best, you know, fertilizer or anything like that, but at the same time, here, let me open this, and look at this. 12, put all the metal down. This is like basalt stones, which I'm not really, you know, huge on these, but we could use these potentially. And I'm going to take out onion, and I'm going to take out cabbage. I'm also going to trade my bowl like that and eat. Alright, good. And I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to plant. We don't have fertilizer. We don't have saltpeter. So, you know, this might be a complete waste of time. But it's fun to just practice. Alright, so this is medium fertility, right? So we can throw this in the ground and just plant some onions. I'll plant 4 onions. And I will plant some cabbage as well. There. So we have 4 onions and 8 cabbage planted in our little teeny farm plot. We're going to close the gate so that nobody gets in there. All I had to do was select my seeds and right-click on this tilled farmland. You can mouse over it. You can see that it's getting 100% moisture. The growth speed is 98%. The nutrient levels are right in the middle. So this is actually pretty reasonable for us to farm with, but we could boost it up with fertilizer. All right, and now what we want to do is pick up our crucible. Okay. And I'm going to put the crucible temporarily on the fire. Okay. And let's see. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to take out this. And this will give us 60 units of copper, which, you know, is probably not enough. Yeah, that's the axe mold. That's the pickaxe mold. Oh, we're making the hammer mold, so it's not done yet. So actually, if you look at the mold, it tells you how many units of metal. So 100 for this and 100 for that. So we can expect 100 again. So that means that we need 8 more pieces of native copper to get there, which we can either, of course, find out in the wild, or we can find by panning, okay? So that's going to be our next little project. We've planted, we found a ton of copper nuggets. How are our berry bushes doing? They're doing okay. And we've planted some trees. And we fought a bunch of enemies, and we found a little cave, which we could consider moving into as a larger home at some point. Everyone, this is a good place to end this episode and get back into this little beginner's guide for Vintage Story. I really hope that you are enjoying the game. I'm just trying to, by the way, like, have a miracle throw and hit this bunny over here. I'm bad. I tried. I got a lot of practice to do with these spears. Luckily, I have a bunch of them. It's easier when they're closer, I'll tell you that much. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Take care.